in the back. And the meeting is now being recorded. Please join me in welcoming Tom Collette to lead us in song and pledge.
Thanks, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I thought with what's going on in the sports world here in Gainesville, gymnastics team, last two meets, two highest scores in the country, and of course men's basketball starts the big dance on Friday night in Tampa. So I thought we'd do We Are the Boys, so everyone arm in arm. Okay. Let's swing and sway. Are you ready? As fellow Rotarians. I'm going to follow you. 1, 2, 3. We are the boys of old Florida, Florida, where the girls are the fairest, the boys are the squarest of any old state down our way. Hey! We are all strong for old Florida, down where the old Gators play. In all kinds of weather, we'll all stick together for Florida. Go Gators! And now please join me as we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now welcome back our favorite leprechaun, Jenna.
And joining us today in person for our invocation, Kevin Thorpe.
I was slightly late arriving, seriously, because within a quarter of a mile of my home, I got pulled over by the Levy County Police. They said I was doing 59 in a 45. And it reminded me of some dear sweet ladies from the church where I serve were coming back from Jacksonville, and they were pulled over on their way into Gainesville, and the officer said to them, "I've pulled you over because you're driving so slowly." He peered around in the vehicle. The driver was very calm, but the ladies in the back of the vehicle looked terrified. The officer said, "Ma'am, why are you driving so slowly?" She said, "Look at the sign, it says 24. He said, "Ma'am, that's State Road 24. It's not the speed limit." Then he asked the ladies in the back, "Why are you all so terrified?" They said, "We just got off of 301. May we pray. Lord, we are beyond grateful for this day, for this season, even for changing climates. We're thankful for this club, the culture that it provides, and especially thankful for today's presentation as we learn about the union of culture and community here. It is for your sake and for your glory we pray. Amen.
We invite our guests and visiting Rotarians to remain standing, and Tom will bring around the microphone for introductions.
Thank you for allowing me to be a guest today. I came here today specifically because I joined this club in March of 1976. And a few of you realize that that's 50 years. So this is my golden anniversary here. And I really appreciate, unfortunately my sponsor of course is not here, but having been brought into Rotary and be able to participate because it has enriched my life. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back and joining us today. And now we have a new member craft talk. If Miss Rebecca Nagy would join us at the podium for introductions.
It's my pleasure to introduce Priscilla Locale-Shapiro to do her craft talk today. I got to know Priscilla and her husband James a few months ago when they started visiting our club, and they came several times to kind of check us out. James had a long history with Rotary through his father, who was a Rotarian up in Thomas, Georgia, and or Thompson, Georgia, and he wanted to be a Rotarian and still does, but he has a new business that's just booming right now, and he feels like he's got to get things settled down with his new business before he can come and join us. In the meanwhile, Priscilla has joined us and is representing the Shapiro family in our club right now. She and James were at the Wild Game Feast and brought some of his business associates to the feast. So they're already getting involved in a lot of ways. Also, I wanted to share with you that Priscilla has loved a lot of our programs and particularly was taken with learning about PACE School for Girls. So much so that after the director spoke to us a few weeks or months ago, Priscilla got in touch with her, said she would like to be involved with PACE, and she's now serving on their board of directors. So she's obviously committed to service and is going to be a wonderful new addition to our club. Priscilla?
Thank you. This is a lot to talk in front of everyone right now, so bear with me. I'm probably going to look down at my phone the whole time so I can see what I've written. And I'm going to try and make it within the 3 minutes, but I apologize if it's not, Gina. Okay, so thank you, Rebecca. I want to, first of all, just introduce who I am. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Priscilla. I truly am honored to be here as an official Rotarian. From the very beginning, what drew me to this club is something that I deeply believe in, that we are better together. And when good people come together with intention, generosity, and heart, real change can truly happen. A little bit about me is I'm originally from Albania. I'm born in Germany. I lived in Italy, and then I moved to the UK when I was 4. So I'm a true European through and through. I've been raised around a brilliant family and a whole load of love. I have been very fortunate to have a very full career in which I have worked as a manager for Disney film studios across the UK, including working on sets for Marvel movies, such as Star Wars, Enchanted, James Bonds, and many more. And then I ventured in the sporting industry for the Premier League across London. And for the past 10 years, I've also worked in event planning. And it all started as planning special moments for friends and family, which then grew into something much bigger. And I've always believed events are more than beautiful tables and timelines. They're about creating spaces where people feel seen, celebrated, and connected. Outside of my professional life, I'm a big believer in fully living life joyfully. I love Pilates, working out, moving my body, which it keeps me grounded and energized. I'm a beach girl at heart, so if there's water nearby, that's usually where you'll find me. So Florida worked out pretty well from a girl from London. I thrive on social connections, spending time with friends, family, cooking, hosting, creating spaces where people can feel welcome. I love to travel. Unfortunately, right now I can't because I'm stuck waiting for a green card, but I love to travel. And immersing myself in different cultures, in different cuisines, and experiencing how people live, celebrate them, and gather around food and tradition, which will always inspire me. For me, life is about connection, and it's about creating beautiful moments, both at home and around the world. And if I can do that with you guys here, that's a true gift that you've given me. Moving to the US opened a new chapter for me, My husband is a developer and a real estate investor, and I'm now embarking on a journey to become a licensed realtor so I can work alongside him. Real estate to me isn't just about buying and selling homes. It's about helping families build stability, legacy, and opportunity. It's about strengthening neighborhoods and investing in communities where people can truly thrive. I promised myself when I moved here, I'll find something that is motivating and spiritually awakening. And then came horse riding, something that only I think America could have brought to me. It's been 2 years now that I have done this, and I have my first hunter jumping competition this weekend. I'm also in the process of launching a resort wear line, which I've been working on for a couple years now, which is a Mediterranean-inspired brand rooted in timeless elegance, where people can celebrate their beauty at every age. Fashion's just another form of storytelling to me, and I'm grateful to be able to bring my vision to life. Speaking of storytelling, I'm also currently publishing a children's book. Writing it has been one of my most meaningful creative projects I've undertaken, and I believe the stories that we give children shape how they see themselves and the world. And if we can plant seeds of courage, kindness, and confidence early on, we're pretty much shaping a brighter future. And what's been most incredible is how Rotary has also impacted my life in such a short space of time. Like Rebecca mentioned, after hearing the presentation from PACE, here at Rotary, I felt completely pulled towards the organization. Something about their mission just resonated deeply with me. I connected with Kristen shortly after. One conversation led to another. I went to visit. I saw firsthand the safe, empowering space they created for young women. And now, what feels like the blink of an eye, I've been asked to serve on the board for PACE Women's Center. And that opportunity came directly from being in this room, from listening, from being open, and from Rotary connections. And I couldn't be more grateful. If there's one thing that connects everything I do, it's this. I like to keep my cup full, not just for myself, but so I can pour into others. I love championing people. I love connecting ideas, encouraging dreams, and celebrating wins, and helping build momentum. I truly believe communities grow when we intentionally show up for one another. And I'm so happy for this journey. I'm excited to learn from each of you and to serve alongside you, and to continue building something meaningful together, because truly we are better together. Thank you.
Oh, that was fantastic. Well, Priscilla, we are very excited to have you as a Rotarian. Thank you for joining our club, and thank you for talking with us. And this is your 4-way test, so. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm your president, John Thomas. Thank you for spending your spring break and St. Patrick's Day with us today. I'm sure some people have had some green beers this morning, but no judgment here. Just a couple of quick announcements. We had a great turnout of Rotarians at the Early Learning Center luncheon last week, and we have a great opportunity on Thursday to socialize with other Rotary clubs here in Gainesville. We'll be having a happy hour at 5:30 at Grand Stream Brewery, which is right across the street in Hartwood. There's some flyers on your table, and we'll also send out some more information. And also on the flyer is the days and times for the next couple socials, so we'll have a little more planning involved with that. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Laila Fakhoury. Laila is an event producer, creative curator, activist, and community organizer. Through planning and executing events like Big Culture and Arts Festivals and How Bazar's Artisan Night Market Series, Laila has one ultimate goal: providing a platform for artists and creatives to sustain themselves in their passions for the work that they do. Laila, if you would join us up here, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Laila Fakhoury. I'm a creative entrepreneur, event producer, and community organizer based here in Gainesville. I'm very honored to have been invited to speak at Rotary Club. This is my first time in a Rotary meeting, so I'm very happy to be here with all of you. My mother lives in Ocala, and since I was a baby, I'd hear her waking up super early to go to Rotary Club meetings once a week, so I'm excited that this is going to be my first time getting to share this space with you all. I'm excited to also share with you a little bit more about what I've been doing in Gainesville for the past decade. So to tell you where I'm at now, I feel like I need to tell you where I started. Basically, I'm originally Palestinian, so my family is from the Middle East, from Palestine and from Lebanon. And as a kid, I learned that community is literally everything. It's all that we have, and it's the most important thing that we can do on this world is to support our friends, our family, our neighbors as we grow older. And so I dedicated my life to that from a very young age. I was doing community work and social work while I was really young. And then I came to the University of Florida in Gainesville. And when I was here, I decided to go on a path of social work and philosophy. During that time, I met one of my best friends whose name is Jahi. And Jahi also has a very interesting background. His family was doing community work and social work even before he was born. So they had a place called the Access Center in Archer, Florida. And their goal was to offer internet access and personal development programming to rural Black communities throughout Central and Northern Florida. So with it being a family business, Jahi and his brother Kari basically had to learn how to do everything. They became children of the computer, of the internet, and they learned photo, they learned video, they learned design, and basically just how to bring community together in these spaces. And so when we met, we realized that we had very similar backgrounds in wanting to do things outside of ourselves, bigger than ourselves, but we also had a lot more creativity than just doing social work or traditional casework. So we decided to create something together that could bridge all of these different things that we loved within art, within music, within video, and social work and community work. So we decided to create an independent record label called Dion Dia. And through Dion Dia, we decided to start doing a few recording projects. We started doing a recording program in the hospital while I was working at Shands. And during that time, we were recording patients who were primarily living in end of life. So they had chronic illness, and we were preserving their legacy by pushing their music out into community and creating records for them. We did the same thing in the prison, primarily with people who were incarcerated with life sentences, pushing their music into community because, as we know, the Department of Corrections pretty much very purposefully disconnects communities. And so we wanted to be able to, again, push people's legacy and their messaging into the community. And so we started doing events through the record label as well so that we could fund building a little studio inside of my house, which I would never recommend to anyone. Do not build a studio in your house because you'll have people in there 24/7. It was a great experience, but it was definitely very exhausting. And during the events that we were doing through Dion Dia, I started to realize how important it was to create these spaces for community to gather, and how having physical space like this is the true epitome of freedom, freedom of creativity, of expression, of connection. And so the events just started to grow very quickly. We were primarily focused on bringing hip-hop culture, R&B culture, street culture into Gainesville, which at the time when we had gotten started was very underground. There wasn't a lot of spaces that were catering towards hip-hop music, R&B music, and we really wanted to bring that more to the surface into downtown. So we didn't have a lot of places that necessarily wanted to work with us, but we ended up finding space for ourselves in very unconventional areas. For example, the basement of the Hippodrome, the Thomas Center, the Civic Media Center, which is an independent reading library. And we started to do these events that grew every single time that we did them. The first event that we had about 125 people at it, which was already mind-blowing to us. But then the next event that we had was about 200 people. The next event that we had was 300, and so on and so forth. But then COVID happened. So we had to stop doing all of the events. We weren't able to do recording programs in the hospital, in the prison with the record label. So we just took some time to sit back and think what else we wanted to offer our community and what we felt like Gainesville still needed. And that's when the idea of How Bazar was born. Has anyone heard about How Bazar yet? Okay, we have some hands. Thank you. So How Bazar is our physical space, which is located in the Southwest parking garage in downtown. Is anyone familiar with Lucy's or Volta, which is now Voltaire? So we're right next door to those spaces. And when we had gotten started in 2020 during the pandemic, we were located inside of the Siegel building. And we were just there in a really small space, kind of like a cave, just on a month-by-month contract, and we knew it was going to be temporary being in that space. But we started doing events out of there. We started doing night markets so that we could bring our community together in a safe way. They were outdoor events where we had social distancing, people were masked, and we had vendors who were selling their goods and supporting themselves through their own creativity and their own passion. And we were seeing people start reconnecting again, which was really beautiful during COVID. And so similar to what happened with our events in Dion Dia, we started doing these night markets, and the first one that we had, I only had 12 vendors, and they were all people who were my friends. But then the next time that we did it, we had a few people reach out, so we had 15 vendors. And then the next time we did it, more people reach out, so we had 20 vendors. And then by the fourth time we did it, we had to just start taking over our parking lot without permission. And we had about 30 to 40 vendors, and it just continued to grow and grow as this movement that people were really just flocking to, because again, it was something that was serving and filling a gap that we were seeing in Gainesville. And so the event started to grow, and we outgrew the space that we were in very quickly. So that's when we moved into the Southwest parking garage, which was a fight in itself, just getting into that space, because we were up against developers and real estate companies who also wanted the space. But community ultimately is what brought us in there, and the support of community. And so now we're in there doing all kinds of events regularly. We do art shows, we do concerts, we do night markets where we close the streets in downtown so that we can provide space for over 120 vendors, food trucks, DJs, and different types of activations. And has anyone here heard of the term third place before? Okay, a few of you. So for those who haven't heard of it, I'll explain it. It's basically a sociological concept that believes you have a first place, which is home, a second place, which is work, but to have a happy and fulfilled life, you should also have a third place where you're building connections, making memories, decompressing. And so that's how we use How Bazar, is a space where people can come, decompress, connect with others. People use the space to co-work, to have meetings, and then also there's a big incubator type of factor. Yes. We call that Rotary. Okay, because my next question was, do you all have a third place in your life? And we know that you do, for sure, and we're hoping that all of you do. Yes, something similar to Rotary, for sure, which I would love to invite you all to How Bazar at some point. Maybe something Rotary-based can happen in there. But there's actually a lot of you, so I don't know how we would fit you, but we would try. But yeah, so How Bazar has become a really beautiful staple in our community, is trying to support culture, arts, and again, just supporting yourselves through your own creativity, through your passion, through your own expression. And through both of these businesses, Dion Dia and How Bazar, we started an annual festival called BIG, Culture and Arts Festival, or BIG for short. Brendan, if you want to pull up our website so that people can see it. Oh, he was ready. He knew it was coming. So this is our website. If you want, you can scroll just to show a little bit of it. But this is a festival that we host every April. It's coming up April 10th through 12th. And typically, we've been hosting it actually very close to the Cade Museum around the corner on South Main Street, in between Porter's Quarters neighborhood and Main Street. But unfortunately, we're not able to use that space this year. But in a way, it worked out very well, because now we're expanding the festival into the heart of downtown. So we're going to be fencing in our block in downtown from Main Street, where the streetery is, if y'all have heard of that term yet, all the way to the Southwest parking garage where How Bazar is. And we're involving 5 of the venues that are in the space to become stages. Lucy's is involved as a decompression space. Voltaire is a decompression space as well. And then we'll have stages outdoors inside of the parking lots in the ends of the streets. So we have 8 stages this year and over 130 artists that are performing, that are coming from all over the country and all over Florida to be a part of this event. We're expecting 4,000 attendees this year. And last year when we hosted BIG, we had the county put the festival, which was only one day, through their economic impact calculator. And there was over $700,000 of economic impact from a one-day festival. This year, we're already almost at our 2,000 tickets sold. And about 60% of those people are coming from outside of Alachua County, and 20% of those are coming from outside of the state. We have several hotel blocks. We have all of these businesses that we're collaborating with. So we believe that 700,000 is going to go up significantly this year, to where it's, again, creating a lot of economic impact, and it's creating this beautiful connection throughout the city and throughout the county that we're really excited to see. But the festival is really important to us because it's meant to become this platform that can support creatives throughout the year. So it's something that a creative person can work on year round. Because one thing that we know about Gainesville, if you're an artist here, is that it's an extremely inspiring city, because everyone is very connected, there's a lot of accessibility, there's a lot of beauty. But then again, it's also very hard to support yourself and live here as a creative, to where you have to compromise in getting other jobs, like in the industries that you're not necessarily as passionate about or as motivated by, just so that you can do your art. So what we want Big to turn into is a workforce for creatives, to where they can, again, sustain themselves throughout the year, stay in Florida, stay in Gainesville, so that they can continue to contribute to the vibrancy and the culture of our city and of our county. And it's already being very much, moving in that direction, where it's getting bigger. There's staff members this year, and we want to continue to grow it similar to how the fest is, but something that's very diverse in sound and who it's introducing to different elements of culture and creativity. But with that being said, I think that I'm getting close to my mark. Does anyone have any questions for me? You said so many. Sorry, I know I talked a lot. We got a question up here. Oh, there's a mic.
You're next.
Okay, you're next.
I love your idea of combining Rotary with what you're doing. I've just recalled, because you said that our mayor had posted on Facebook that on the little square of about a 9-by-9 square block area downtown, so you don't have to walk more than 3 blocks. There are 29 restaurants, not counting just clubs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. There's so much in our downtown area that we want to contribute to and we want to work with to uplift everyone. One of the big things that we do through the festival is we do something called Guide to Gainesville. So we reach out to all of the businesses in the area and we invite them to create some kind of themed special for the festival to connect to the event. And then we send that to all of our ticket holders. We post it on social media, so it incentivizes people to bounce around and jump to all of these restaurants, bars, and creative spaces in the area.
Every topic you've described speaks to me. And I want to go to your early description of interviewing people at the end of their lives, in that setting, or going into the prisons. I think that's so valuable. What happened to those interviews? Are they shared with family? Are they out in the world anywhere?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So everything that we recorded was very personal to the people that we were working with within the hospital and in the prison. So everything was burnt onto CDs, and that was sent to all of the families. So we mailed it to each family, and we burnt as many as they wanted, and we gave them to everyone. The CDs, are a little bit outdated nowadays, but people have been able to digitize their music of their loved ones and have listened to it digitally as well. Thank you.
All right, so I can't express how happy I am to see you at our Rotary. Laila has been really close with me. We've been working together for years, and Sweetwater has hosted her artists, and very honored to hopefully be hosting The Alchemist this year. And she is her and Jahi are just amazing people, and I am so honored to be able to work with her. And she has reciprocated and come to my aid at times, and the dedication is unbelievable, and I just love to see the way this festival has grown. Sometimes these young people have sacrificed their own finances, and so I've tried to come in with using my house for a place to bridge a gap for finances, and we'll see where you land this year, because I believe in this concept. I think it's just so beautiful. What they do is amazing, so I'm just thrilled that you're here today to describe and let everyone here know what's going on downtown Gainesville. Some of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Fest, right? And this is not Fest at all, but the way Fest has evolved and what it has meant to our community in Gainesville, how we've become literally worldwide known for Fest, and the fact that 20% of your ticket sales are out of state speaks volumes to the fact that people want this, they need this. This is safe space, a third space for so many young people who are looking to find belonging. The kids that came, not kids, well, yes, they were kids. They used the entire house, and it was just beautiful to see the level of courtesy that they held for my house, and they were so appreciative. They had different parts of the house had different music. They had a salsa class in the dining room. I moved furniture around, and they had a visual arts room. Just the level of creativity is astounding, and I'm just so honored that you're here.
Thank you so much. Cornelia was sent here to make me cry today, to make me cry in front of all of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming today. So the downtown streetery, could you speak a little more to that and the activities that have been happening in there? I've noticed there's been a lot of things during the winter marketplace and such.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So that's actually also my activation with the Downtown Winter Market series that we started in December. So that's in collaboration with the city, the GCRA. And basically the streetery, if y'all are familiar, is First Street, which is next to the Bowl. Does everyone know where I'm talking about? The Bowl has that big white tent outside, and then that closed pedestrian street is considered the streetery. And on that street, they hadn't been activating it for the past few years because there was a big question mark of what they were going to do with it, if it was going to be opened back up for parking, if it was going to be beautified. And they ultimately decided to go with a beautification process to keep it as a closed pedestrian walkway festival street area. And because they hadn't been activating it for a while, the city basically reached out to me because I do markets in that area so often to ask if we would do something consistent to keep it active. So we had a concept of creating this Downtown Winter Market series where every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we're doing markets for local vendors to participate in. We had 26 vendor stalls that we actually built ourselves that vendors would come and plug into so that it was extremely accessible and easy for people to be a part of. And it went so well throughout December and January that they actually asked us to do a spring edition. So we just started that. This was our second weekend that just passed. And we're going to be going all the way up until the festival, which is April 10th through 12th. So if y'all are around downtown, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday over the next 2 weeks, we would love to invite you to come and visit the marketplace. There's live music, there's DJs, there's food trucks, and there's always different arts activities. And then we also do skill shares, which are free workshops, something like sewing, crochet, plant care, DJing. We always have different workshops rotating.
Thank you for what you're doing. Your energy level is phenomenal. Sometimes I encounter people who say there's nothing to do downtown. There's no reason to go downtown. And I think, what planet are you living on? You know, I live downtown, so I can tell them they're wrong.
Yes. Good.
But tell us about your financial model. Are you a not-for-profit? How do you do all this financially?
Great question. Cornelia, that's how we do it. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, we are not a not-for-profit. We are developing a nonprofit arm of Bazar, but we are a for-profit business. We just don't really operate like one very well. But thankfully, there's been different projects that we've been doing through freelance work. For example, we've taken our Skillshare sessions that we host at Bazar, which again are those accessible workshops, and the University of Florida has asked us to come and do them for their students at UF. And so that, you know, was a good paycheck so that we could put back into the project. And then similarly with doing the Downtown Winter Market series, the Downtown Spring Market series, we're getting contracted by the city to be able to do that, which is great to have those funds go into paying staff members because, again, that's really the epitome of what we're trying to create with these projects is to be able to pay local DJs, musicians, photographers, videographers to do what they love. So that's been really helpful. I also apply for a lot of grants for through the GCRA and through different organizations. And then one of the things that we did this past year that was extremely helpful for us financially is we went on a tour around Florida with our night market. So every month we were in a different city. We went to Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, and Miami. And in each of those cities, we were able to host a bar, we had a small entry fee, we had small vendor fees, and so that helped us a lot with supporting ourselves back here in Gainesville. And then the festival has not gotten to a point of even break even yet. We understand that with work like this, it takes a while to get to that point, especially with the large scale that we're working at. To be able to host our festival the first year, we sold our cars because we're crazy people, but it's also because we believe in so much what we're doing. And last year we had a lot of support. We did something called the Giving Tree, where it was a sponsorship tier that people were donating $600 to support the festival. So we were able to get a lot of small amounts of community support, and that was huge for the festival. But other than that, there hasn't been a lot of financial gain yet from these projects, and that's not necessarily the purpose or intention of them. All of us going into How Bazar, into Dion Dia, kind of understood that it was meant to be community project that we, again, want to turn into something that is sustainable for the people who are working on it, but we understood that that was going to take a little bit of a while, so we were all doing freelance work and different things until we get to that point of comfort. And ideally, the festival is the key to that, to make sure that it is something that's sustainable and that's fruitful for everyone. Last year, like I said, we didn't get to break even, but we were very close, which was huge boost in confidence for us. And we ended up actually making 2 break even after the festival because Cornelia opened her house to us to be able to do a little house party fundraiser that brought in more funds that we were able to close out the festival. This year, though, with the amount of artists that we have in their tier of artistry, like we have headliners that are coming from all over the country that have millions of followers, monthly listeners. If y'all haven't heard of an artist named Earl Sweatshirt yet, he's basically the leader of the underground hip hop alternative scene. And so he's an artist that we booked, which is crazy. And it's a huge deal for us. So we're seeing a lot more ticket sales, more interest, and more interest in sponsorship because of that. So baby steps, but we're getting there.
Real quick, yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
I want to first say, fantastic presentation, and without a visual, I think, being a presenter, to keep everyone's attention without that, super impressive. And then just between you and Priscilla, the theme of today is obviously like badasses who get it done and make the rest of us feel inadequate. I'm curious because I having heard so much about this and seen it and watched it evolve, and I hear your name constantly when people say, oh, you want to activate the community, you should talk to Laila. And there's so many young people now that are drawn to this kind of thing and don't have other places or don't feel comfortable. And I think we see that here amongst Rotary. It's difficult to attract a younger population of people. How much are you tapping into or leveraging the fact that you have your finger on the pulse of a younger community to try and educate, our elected officials and our community groups for, what the younger generation is looking for and what's missing and where those gaps are?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I love that question because really that's been the theme for the past few weeks. Everyone that I've been talking to has been, how do we bridge the gap in Gainesville between the younger student scene and the younger community and the people who have been established, who have been here for a while, and how the collaborations can happen. Even, for example, if y'all are familiar with Sweetwater Print Co-op, they brought me in the other day to ask how we could bring How Bazar's community and demographic of younger artists into their space so that they could learn from each other, so that they can add more members to that space so that it continues on. And really the main thing that we've been doing is just trying to keep our process with working with elected officials, with the city, with organizations that have older demographics, wiser demographics, and making those kinds of things as transparent and open as possible so that we can motivate people to come with us to those meetings, to those conversations, to those events that they are also hosting, so that they can get an opportunity to, also get to know what's going on in the city and in the county overall. And we want to do more of that. So if anyone ever has ideas for us of how we can, again, bridge those gaps, because How Bazar it seems like a younger demographic, and I've heard a lot of people who are older and wiser go in there and say, oh, I don't feel like I'm cool enough to be here, I'm not young enough to be here, but really, like, it attracts all kinds of people and all demographics, all age groups, and so we really want to put that on a pedestal, and we want to make everyone feel comfortable in those spaces, and the main way is just by bringing people together and making sure everyone knows that they belong. Thank you.
Everybody? Laila, thank you so much for speaking to us today. As a token of our appreciation, we're going to be making a donation in the Rotary Foundation in your name. Yeah. Can you cue up her clapping? Thank you so much. Sounds like you're doing a ton of exciting work.
You too.
So look forward to the fest. I think we'll have some more ticket sales for you after this. Just quickly, next week's speaker is going to be Deborah Newell in the RILA Inbound, so you don't want to miss that. Please bring a guest. Our Rotary Reading Safari winner this week is 675-445, 675-445. And if I could have everybody stand, we are going to finish
can be lucky.
with the four-way test.
That's awesome.
Say it with me. Is it the truth?
Is the
Is it
truth?
fair to all concerned?
Fair to all
Will it
concerned.
build goodwill and better friendships?
friendships.
Will it be beneficial
to all concerned.
And I'll see everybody on Thursday. You're adjourned. Who won?
Have a great week. All right, let's end this thing.